Hey everyone, it's me, Crystal with ArmyWife101.com. So I'm here today, back again with my recap of this week's, or by the time you see this, last night's Army Wives episode. Now, I got an email or two stating that people was looking forward to my recap from last week's episode, but I just have to be honest and say that I didn't even feel like last week's episode was worth recapping. Um, when I can't remember an episode, the next week it wasn't good. And I kind of feel like, as much as I'm a true fan and a fan to the end with this show, I feel like it's kind of just, it's almost like they don't know where to go. Now, tonight's episode, or last night if you're watching this tomorrow, um, really didn't have a storyline. I don't see any portion of last night's episode or tonight's episode being continued. What I did like was that it did focus on Mother's Day, and for people like me who were going through a deployment, it was sweet to see that people acknowledge um, those of us who are here on the home front, taking care of the home front, whose husbands are deployed. So I thought that was sweet, and really it just focused on, Joan going through her thing because she's not home with Sarah Elizabeth, Roland missing Joan. It shows some of the trials and tribulations we go through on holidays where Joan couldn't connect on her computer to talk to Roland and Sarah Elizabeth because of a dust storm, a sandstorm. I kind of had a similar experience today. My husband got on Skype and we got to talk for about maybe 45 seconds before it cut off, and I didn't hear from him for the rest of the day. So nice to see the acknowledgement of those things. Denise and Frank, I'm glad to see Frank once again is embracing Denise's passion for motorcycle riding. The episode began with them actually taking a motorcycle ride, and it was kind of cool because I lived in Savannah and we loved to visit Charleston. I got to see some sites that I was familiar with. They took a motorcycle ride, and then they came back home, and Frank and Jeremy surprised her with a motorcycle. So that's really all where that focused at. They were supposed to go on a date, and Frank had to take over command for someone, so they missed their date for a night. But, that was the end of that. Pam is still dealing with her thing with Chase. She heard from him. Her kids did a little coupon book for her, a coupon for a hug, a coupon to wash the dishes. And then her daughter, Katie, handed her a coupon from Dad, because apparently the coupon book was Dad's idea, Chase's idea, and it said a coupon for and fill in the blank. So I'm hoping that that's the beginning of a start to them fixing their marriage, because I don't root for anybody's marriage to fail, but I hope that works out. Of course, Trevor is still a recruiter. He wants to visit, I guess, a potential recruit's baseball game in high school because he basically said that the recruit was a foster kid. And as some of you may or may not know, Trevor was also a foster kid, so I guess he has a soft spot in his heart for that. And during the course of going to this game, wherever it must have been from Fort Marshall, their, Mustang broke down? Let me just touch on that for 1 second. Could they please let them get a new car? I know they're trying to, do the whole Army thing and show that everybody doesn't have new cars, but most of us have a decent car. I mean, come on. Could you please get rid of that 1985 red Mustang? Can they please get a new car? They have 2 kids. They have a baby coming. That's just so unrealistic. I mean, you even gave Chase and Pam like a Camry. Can they get a Camry too? Really? Um, so that's going on with them. Roxy still kind of annoys me because it's like she's always complaining about Trevor and, oh, well, you have to do this, and, oh, all right. She can't just accept it. This is this dude's job. He's a recruiter. Hello, Roxy. Get a grip. But I love Roxy. I do. She just, I don't know. I don't know what they're so hopefully we see her, with her pregnancy, and that moves on and so forth. So we have Roland, we did Joan, Claudia Joy and Michael. Michael's aunt came to visit, played by Ann Margaret. I love Ann Margaret. She's a well-known actress. And she came to visit, and pretty much the story focused around her, and it kind of brought her and Claudia together because Ann Margaret's character in the story is Michael Holden's aunt, and she lost her son in Vietnam, but the problem was he was never found. So every year it's been hard for her because she's never been able to kind of put this, not that you ever forget about a lost child, but she's kind of never been able to have any peace because she never had a memorial or anything for him. So of course it was predictable that, Claudia Joy wanted to do something special for her, and they held like a memorial in her son's honor, kind of to give her a little bit of closure, and it was sweet. And I mean, all around, the episode pretty much just focused on the whole Mother's Day, everybody's tradition for Mother's Day. Of course, Trevor couldn't make it home for the big dinner that Roxy and Pam were supposed to have all together. So Pam runs into Claudia Joy at the commissary and tells Claudia Joy what happened. Of course, Claudia Joy saves the day by inviting everybody to her house. They have this big dinner and blah, blah, blah. So I focused on tradition. Of course, I have to say it made me cry. I mean, Army Wives, that's one thing they're good at. They can tug on your heartstrings. I think the most memorable part of tonight's episode was when Claudia Joy was doing this like a little event for the FRG and basically honoring people for Mother's Day. And she said, we have a surprise for these families. And she called the names. And you seen her nod her head at the person. He opened the door. And all these soldiers came in and ran to their families. Oh, my God, it makes me cry thinking about it right now. But it was so sweet. The soldiers were on R&R. And they actually had flew them in early. I don't know how likely that is to happen in real life. I've never seen it. But it was sweet. And these are the parts of Army Wives that do make it a little bit more, realistic or more relatable, I should say. Not maybe totally realistic. But now next week's episode looks awesome. Finally, they're because admit it, we need a little action on the show. The sentimental stuff is beautiful, but can we get some action? Now, I don't condone next week's actions on the show, but it makes for the show. And pretty much a new family comes onto post. Everything seems perfect, and apparently it looks like the woman is being abused. And of course, I guess the group is going to step in and try to save her. And that is an issue in the Army. There are women who are abused, and it's an issue in civilian everyday life, but it's an issue, especially with the war and everything like that, and, people coming back and all types of issues that are happening. It's probably going to focus on something to that degree. So that's next week's episode. So once again, if you don't see a recap from me, know that I didn't forget. It's just that it's not worth really recapping. I thought tonight's episode was sweet. And I wanted to recap for you guys. But I don't want to make this a long video because it's already at almost 7 minutes. So continue to visit me here or at www.armywife101.com. Join my Facebook fan page, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.